So, have you guys read the news story or whatever they're talking about, the Britney Spears book that's coming up?
Yeah, I heard about it.
She wrote a book.
She wrote a book. And so the controversy, though, is in this book, she's talking about her relationship with Justin Timberlake and how she was pregnant. He forced her to have an abortion, basically, with the excuse that this is going to ruin our careers.
All right, hold on a second. So we're talking about Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake, who dated 20-something years ago, right?
Right.
Okay. And she writes a book now.
Yes.
It's not all about this relationship, is it?
No, it's about her life. It's
Got
about
it.
everything that she's been through. But the one thing that is being highlighted the most recently in social media is the fact that she had an abortion because of Justin Timberlake.
So this is a hot topic in the book. Okay?
Yes.
So she's pregnant 20-some-odd years ago when they're dating.
Yes.
And then she's claiming that he forced her to have an abortion at that time of their baby because potentially it would ruin both of their burgeoning careers.
Yes.
Okay, let's think about it. She was probably, what, 18 to 20 at the time?
Gotta be young.
She was a rising star, if not already a huge star.
Potentially even bigger than him, right?
Oh,
Because I think
so.
at around that time he was still in NSYNC, so not going solo yet.
So she was a little more famous than him, but both of them are definitely on the path of success. Like these two they're going to be something major. And she gets pregnant.
But let's not forget, she is also the one that had the controlling family, right? The dad was always behind the scenes controlling her and her career. So I'm not saying there isn't any merit to what she's saying, that he put pressure, but really, what guy's career is going to be affected by having a child? Her career was going to be affected 100%, right? His, not so much, in my opinion.
Well, I'm assuming that if they stay together, right, and become some sort of a family unit, maybe there's a higher chance of some impact on him and his career. If they separate and she gets a large portion of custody, we're speculating here on all of this, of course, because it didn't happen, but maybe that impacts him less and her more. Definitely her. Obviously, the mom is going to be heavily impacted more than the dad, you would think, usually. But in this situation, two superstars, they go their different routes. We know how little they're home. When you're rich and famous and you're some sort of entertainer or something, you're always on the road. I think there would be some impact on his career, right? Unless he was totally absentee father, right?
Some, but would it really affect him? Would it really stop him from becoming JT?
It may, though, because what if he wants to be the dad that's always there? What if he wants to change the diapers, take him to nursery school, right? If he wants to do that, it'll be challenging.
At 19 or 20?
I mean, look, you raise a very interesting point, right? You raise a very interesting point. There's plenty of stay-at-home dads, and it's become more popular these days. We wouldn't think that he would be the stay-at-home dad any more than maybe she would be a stay-at-home mom. We don't know. But with their careers, it'd be hard to give that up. But you never know. You don't know what people will do. But you raised the point earlier of her controlling family. Maybe he would have had to, right? Given the wackiness of her family, maybe he would have had to step up and been more of a present for the baby. I don't know.
It is interesting. They're both entertainers, so they both were extremely wealthy or about to be, so they can handle having a baby and keeping their career. A lot of people have maybe office jobs or more traditional day jobs. Right. They just can't. They can have nannies, support system.
Yeah, and they definitely have the finances, right? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, at that point, I think they already had it, because they met at Mickey Mouse, Disneyland or Disney
They were at the
Club,
Mickey Mouse Club. They knew each other, I
those.
think, for a while. I didn't follow the story a ton back then. I just remember the denim suit, right?
Back then it was cool. I think they both wore it, right? Yeah.
Well, hey, I was an NSYNC fan.
The
so.
Canadian
tuxedo, that's right. She was definitely more famous than him.
At that time.
Yes.
For sure. Because she was a solo pop star. He, I believe, was still in sync.
It's a heavy topic.
It is heavy.
Should the dad have final say? And if the woman gives birth, is it only the woman's decision? It's complicated.
I mean...
Historically, though, my body, my choice,
correct.
Though, right?
Makes sense.
Correct.
If I'm going to have to carry the baby and go through all the pain and all of this, it is my choice whether I want to do this or not. Yeah. That's always the argument, right? How can I say, yes, I'm going to have it and then still want you to pay for it, or not have it and then not take into consideration that maybe you do want to have it?
Well, you raise another interesting point because, get past the issue or put aside for a second the issue of whether it's her choice or a collective choice to have the baby. She has the baby, right? Let's say. He says, I'm not doing anything with it. I don't want to pay pay for it. I don't want to be a part of its life, whatever it is, right? And we know that that's not legally accurate either, because if she really wanted him to be a part of it, she lawyers up and goes to court, and if it's his, he's going to be responsible. I don't know, depending on what state and where they are, but like there's going to be some legal responsibility there if it's actually his, right? That's the second part where, whether the decision is made to have the child or not, like there's still going to be responsibility that you can't shake afterwards, even if you wanted to.
I don't know. It's so heavy, but my point with this is, why bring it up now after all these years?
Well, I think it's trauma, and she's definitely gone through some mental health issues. This could be a huge cause of that. A young girl dealing with these huge, difficult issues at that age when her career is taking off or already took off, it could change her whole trajectory. Maybe she wanted the kid and was forced not to have the kid.
Well, I think she said in the book that she wanted to have it, that she wanted to start a family with him.
Wow.
I think that was part of it.
You raised the question of why now. I don't know a ton about this. I didn't read the book. This wasn't like specifically like a news grab, right? Like she wrote a book, or was part of the process of writing a book. But I'm assuming, and tell me if I'm wrong, that it's somewhat of a memoir or a life story or something of that nature. So if she's talking about past events, important things or big things, or the stories that everyone wants to hear, I can understand talking about it, right? I mean,
yeah, and it can give other people courage to also start talking about it.
So you mentioned that it is trauma. So do you think it's more of a self-healing process, and the whole writing the book and this is just helping her to heal?
I don't know her personally, but I think, yes, writing in general, absolutely. It could be therapeutic. It could finally let her just kind of release maybe something that she's been holding on to for 20 years.
There's a catharsis to it, right?
100%.
Absolutely, like getting it out.
I actually do like writing, or journaling, or whatever.
Very easy. I'm worried about what you're going to say about Steve.
Then you burn it, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. She has this claim or assertion in her book that he forced her to have this abortion. I'm curious, what does that look like? How does one force another person to do this, right? And I'm not talking about third world country where there's not laws and regulations and rules and things like that. Is it just real heavy, like intense pressure? Is it threat? Is it trade-off of something else? Right? I'm curious about that, right? Because she could have just told him, my body, my choice, right? I want this. I'm going to go do this. I have the finances. I have the support. Get out of here.
I haven't read the book, so
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think the implication is that he put a lot of pressure, kind of forced her by just saying no, we shouldn't have this, and putting a lot of pressure to have an abortion.
What was curious though is if she had that controlling family, did they step in? Did they know? Should they have stepped in? To me, if you have a controlling family, they might have taken Justin's side for her career, right? Or if they took her side, why didn't she have the baby if that's what she wanted?
Or is it possible that the family told Justin, you need to put pressure on her to have an abortion?
I mean, I think you guys both raised an interesting point there, that with what we know of her controlling family, especially her father, there's speculating, but there's a good chance that he might have had some influence in that as well too, right? Because you got to figure, if she has a baby at a young age,
So hard.
I mean, we know now that Britney has struggled for a long time with mental health issues, right? And
Substance abuse.
we feel bad for her, right? I mean, it's tough.
For
I do
anyone.
genuinely feel bad for her, despite all her fame and riches. Like, she has not led a healthy life and not led what we would want for our children, okay?
But she's resilient though.
She's resilient.
And
she's still here, and she's still doing her
That's
thing. And
awesome.
credit to her for
Yes.
breaking out from her dad and all that stuff. And that's
And
a whole
she's such a hard worker.
that's a whole other discussion,
Yeah.
right? Maybe her dad, maybe even Justin felt like, you cannot handle this now. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate. There's so many different ways we could look at this. I'm interested to read the book though. I'll be honest
Me
with you.
too.
It's got to be an interesting read. I would think. I don't know.
I'll get a copy and then I'll pass it around, and then we
Good.
can have like a little book club. And
Hey,
Book club.
all right.
yeah, talk about it.
I like it. The
Maybe
Henry
Oprah.
Kozlowski book club.
Yeah, work for
Right.
Oprah.
Right?
That's right.
Well, we used to have a book club.
Here in the office, we have a
Yeah.
book? Okay. All right.
Wow.
But you didn't read Britney's book.
No.
Mm.
Okay. It could be only starlets.
It
and
wasn't
celebrities,
out.
Right?
It wasn't out yet.
It wasn't out yet. Okay.
No.
All right. Well, I like this, guys.
Thanks. It was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
Likewise.
Back to work.